Excellent. Thank you. It's great to be here. Panther Pro, we're very excited to bring Panther Pro to the market. It is the first three-way liquid flumioxazin available on the market. It's an excellent resistance management tool, including water hemp, mare's tail, common ragweed, all the very difficult to control weeds that we get lots of questions about when we come to conferences like this. Panther Pro is a great solution. And while we're at the No-Till conference, it's worth noting that Panther Pro is also excellent on burn down. Wide range of broadleaves, and just does a great job in burn down, which for the non-no-tillers out there is also important in conventional till. If you have some weeds that come up in between your last tillage pass and planting, Panther Pro would take those out. So we're excited to be here and talk about that with these growers. So we've had 3 years of intense trials with universities, and in this past year we also did some trials with some growers throughout really the upper Midwest, just due to timing of when we could get the product to them with the registration we had. But the thing that we're seeing is just very consistent results and an excellent residual that you'd expect out of a flumioxazin containing product. So we're seeing that. We're seeing the really nice compliments on how well it handles and mixes with any other products that you might be mixing it with. So excited about letting people get their hands on it this past year, and really excited to bring it to the broader market this year. So that's a great question, and trust me, it's a question we get asked a lot in today's age with all the different resistance issues and cross-resistance issues. But the number one thing a grower can do is they really need to document what they have in the field. Understand each field, what's going on in that field, and document it. Because next year, maybe their son or dad is the one that is making a herbicide decision, and they need to go back and have something to look at. And when it comes to making a herbicide decision, first and foremost, multiple modes of action. Any university professor will tell you that's the way to go. All of our competitors are saying it, we're saying it. Growers need to understand going after weeds with a single mode of action is not the way to combat resistance, and that's where Panther Pro becomes a really nice tool. One other comment on burn down. There's a lot of weeds that if we try to use low rates on burn down, you don't kill it, and you'll fight that weed season long. And so using the right rates on burn down, don't skimp on your credit extreme if you're just trying to burn down some weeds, because you could end up with mare's tail season long. So I'd say that maybe the last thing is using a nice residual that has that multiple modes of action, making sure you have a nice foundation to control those hard to control weeds that maybe you don't have as many options in crop as you used to because of resistance issues. So making sure you have a good foundation. So lots of points there. It's a great question, but the National No-Till Conference is really proven to be a premier event for innovative farmers. I was just at a conference in a meeting here, and there was probably 50 to 100 guys that raised their hand on this was their first no-till conference, but there's another 800 that have come time and time again, and these innovative farmers keep flocking to the National No-Till Conference to learn what's new, to new tricks and tricks of the trade, I guess, and share their successes and their failures, and as they all try to become better stewards of the environment. And that's where no-till as a practice is so important. It's not only a great way to farm, it's also a great way to farm to protect our environment for the future. And all the farmers here, all these growers and producers here, they spend a lot of time talking about what I'm going to hand on to my future generations. And no-till really is a nice way to preserve that, the land, not just for this generation and creating a great yield in the year 2018, but how can I do practices today that will ensure in 2028 and 38 and 2048, my children and grandchildren will be able to produce great yields on the same land. So that's no-till.